Okay class, the notes for today are on quadratics and how to convert them from standard form to vertex form or from vertex form to standard form. If you'll remember back when we studied linear equations, you had three forms that you could find the equation. You could see it in slope-intercept form, you could see it in point-slope form, or you could see it as in standard form. Now, most of the time in the books or on a test, you would see an equation in standard form. However, if you were trying to graph it, you would want to convert it back to slope-intercept form because that is the easiest way to graph a line, is to have it in that form. Now we're looking at quadratic equations. Now, we've just talked about the standard form for a quadratic, which is this one right here, y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. And then last night you watched a video on vertex form, which is this one right here, y equals a times x minus h quantity squared plus k. So now we're going to look at these two equations, and what you'll notice is that most of the time we see standard form. However, if you're wanting to graph a quadratic, it's easier to graph it when it is in vertex form. So now let's look at our examples. The first example, we're going to convert from vertex form to standard form. Now this is going to require that you remember back to multiplying a binomial squared, which is this one right here. Okay, so when we multiply a binomial squared, we taught you using the box method. So let's look at that. I'm going to bring down my 3, and then remember, anytime you have a binomial squared, you're going to write that down twice. So x minus 2 times x minus 2. And then we have our plus 4 on the end here. Okay, well, to do this part, we're going to make a box. And we're going to go ahead and multiply that. So we put our x minus 2 on the outside here. We put our other x minus 2 outside here. Then you multiply on the inside. We get that on the inside. We get here. This is x squared. Here we get a negative 2x. And here we get a negative 2x again. And then negative 2 times negative 2 is a positive 4. Okay, and at this point we are going to combine our like terms. So let's see what we have. We go ahead and we're going to bring down the 3. It's still part of our equation. But now we've already multiplied these, so we're going to write it in parentheses with our new multiple. It's x squared, because I'm going to combine these now. This is minus 4x, and then I have plus 4. But don't forget, you've got that plus 4 that you need to bring down. So we have our plus 4 here. Now just clean it up a little. I'm going to need to distribute. So I've got 3x squared minus 12x plus 12. But then I also have this plus 4 on the end of it. And then I have like terms here and here. So go ahead and finish cleaning it up. 3x squared minus 12x plus 16. And you're done. Here is your answer, because now we have converted it into y equals 3x squared minus 12x plus 16. I probably should have boxed in this y here too. Okay, so now let's see what happens when we want to convert from standard form to vertex form. Okay, to do this, you need to remember that HK is our vertex. So here's our example. We have it in standard form, y equals x squared minus 6x plus 13. We have a formula that we can use to find the h coordinate of the vertex right here. This comes from our quadratic formula. So if you remember, we talked about the quadratic formula a few days ago. The part that we can use to find what h is h equals the opposite of b over 2a. Notice that I'm saying the opposite of b. If b is negative, then it's going to go in as a positive right here. Okay, so let's look at this example. Let's write down what our a, b, and c is, and then let's work it out. So a is equal to which value? It's the value in front of x squared, so it's 1. B is equal to -6, and C is equal to 13. Okay, so let's go ahead and plug into this equation right here. So we're going to have H equals the opposite of B, so I'm going to put the opposite of my B, which is -6, over 2 times A, which is 1. Now let's go ahead and simplify that. The opposite of -6 is a +6, and that's over 2. So you can see that my H value is 3, because 6 divided by 2 is 3. Now I'm going to write that over here. Let's get a different color. So over here, my vertex, I've got part of my vertex. My H value is 3. Now, if you notice that in your vertex right here, which value is this? Is this X or Y? It's X. So now what I can do is I can take this value, 3, and I can plug it into my original equation everywhere that I see an X. Okay, so let's do that. I'm going to change my colors again. Let's do purple. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and plug it in. So I've got Y equals, I'm plugging it in for X right here. So 3 is going to go in place of X, so I'm going to have a 3 squared -6 times 3 plus 13. Keep going, go ahead and clean it up. 3 squared is 9. And then -6 times 3, -18, plus 13 would be a -5. So what is your Y value? Your Y value is 4. So now I can put that in place of my K in my vertex. Okay, so now let's go ahead and fill in what the vertex form is going to look like. So my original vertex, my generic vertex form is Y equals A times X minus H quantity squared plus K. So let's plug in everything that we know. Y equals, what was your A? My A is right here, it's 1, so I'm going to go ahead and put in a 1. Then you have X minus, your H value was right here. Remember, your H value was 3. So let's plug that in. Then you have a squared plus your K value here, which is 4. Congratulations, you've converted it into vertex form. Now, the 1 is not really that important right here. So let me go ahead and erase that from my answer. And then now you have your answer that you can go ahead and box, and you're done. Okay, so now what we want you to do is we want you to work this secret example. We have y equals x squared plus 8x plus 7. I want you to convert it to vertex form, and then I want you to name the vertex. So if you'll scroll down after you watch this video, you will see a Google Doc where we want you to answer some questions. And good luck and study well.